Beginner truck owner. Woo!
How to own a truck. What's going on, everyone? Roger Wrench is back for another video. Today's gonna be a quick one. This is my 2017 Dodge Ram 1500 with the Hemi in it, and I'm gonna be reviewing this truck Toolbox. It's the Tractor Supply Company, also known as the DeeZee Toolbox. I bought about 8 months ago, so I've had it for quite some time. So it's definitely been through some hot and cold cycles. Summer and the winter, we had a pretty cold winter this year, so it's seen some good weathering, but as you can tell, it's in pretty good shape. So yeah, I'm just going to give my opinion, some pros and cons of this box. If you're looking for a truck toolbox, I can either recommend this for you if it fits your certain needs, so I can get into that. But without further ado, let's talk about it. So let's start this review by opening up the toolbox. This is the key they give you, small little key CH518. So you get 2 of these actually with the box. As you can see, I only have 1. So let's start off with the cons. This is the first con. In my opinion, when you go to put the key into the box, over time, if you don't grease it properly or it's just weathered, the key actually could potentially get stuck in there, and that's actually what happened to me. So you kind of have to push the box up and down as you're pushing the key in sometimes. So what I did is I snapped the key inside the mechanism, which was terrible, and I lost the key, so I have to get a duplicate of this one, but for now I'm just rocking the one. What I did basically is I used WD-40 to lubricate it. You can use other lubricants, but if not, you might snap a key like I did. So now it's in the open position. It's got 2 tabs on each side. You can do whatever you want. See that? Opens. So yeah, it opens nice and easy. I would say that's the first con. If you want to come up here, I can show you a little more. So this is more of a close-up of what I was just discussing with the key. So this piece here goes up against here, and that's the locking mechanism. So what I did is I just WD-40'd this a little bit to kind of lubricate it and make sure that can go down and up easily. So that's one of the first cons and something you should be aware of. So let's move on to the second con, in my opinion. If you close it from the driver's side, which I generally do if I'm grabbing something out of here quickly to jump in the truck, I'm just going to put my hand here and close it like that, right? So this side is perfectly flush, but if you go over here, if you can kind of see how this side does not really close properly. So that's a downfall in my opinion. You have to close it exactly in the center of the toolbox, or otherwise it could potentially fly up. So I just actually closed it. If you push down hard enough a little bit on this side, it will lock in place, but if you don't do that, it's only locked on one side. This box could potentially, if you hit a pothole or bump big enough, just fly right up, and that's happened to me actually like probably a dozen times, which is embarrassing and funny at the same time. But I would just be looking in my rearview mirror and see black, and I'd be like, why am I seeing black? And then I see my thing is flapping in the wind, so I have to pull over on the side of the road, jump out, and slam it down like that. So that's definitely a con. I don't want to jump inside my truck each and every time just to close this, so I wish there was a better, easier way to do this to, engage the lock fully on both sides. So that's the second con. So let's move on to the third and final con of this truck toolbox here. As you can see, it's pretty scuffed up and dirty inside. I mean, I'm not really going to clean the inside per se. No one's really going to see it except me. I'm not showing it off to anyone. It's just to store tools and supplies. But as you can see on the bottom here and the sides, the paint's kind of chipping down to the metal, which is understandable. I believe it was like a $300 toolbox, so relatively cheap in that sense, and it is chipping in most of the places if I throw some heavy tools in there and scuff it up. But I would say that's a con in my opinion. For $300, I think they could maybe make the interior a little better quality per se, but the exterior is definitely of good quality. I'll get to that in the pros. So yeah, overall it can withstand a decent beating with throwing heavy tools in there. Does dent a little bit just because it's aluminum. Click up above here if you haven't seen the install video and you want to see that. We go over how to install. It's pretty straightforward, but if you're interested, you can check that out. So I would say that's the third con, even though it's not the largest con. So we're on to the pros now. The first pro, I really like the look of this toolbox here. It's got that rugged diamond plated, I think they call it, kind of vibe to it, and it's blacked out, so I definitely enjoy the blacked out look. If you're not a blacked out kind of guy, look over here, you could be a chromed out kind of guy. Just realized my neighbor's truck is all chromed out. He's got the whole bed cover and the Tractor Supply toolbox as well, but chrome edition. So for me personally, I love the blacked out look. Overall, this black rugged look kind of matches my truck personally. If you have a chromed out truck, then maybe the chrome box would be more suited for you, like our fellow Ford here. But yeah, this box definitely matches my truck overall, so I'm glad I went with the black rugged look. So let's move on to the second pro, the thing I like about this truck toolbox. Let's open it up. And that is they call it the pusher, DeeZee, these hydraulic push rods here in the back that actually lift up and safely position it in the up position, not smashing your glass. So these actually do a really good job. This toolbox is 8 months old, so these are fairly old. I actually have never properly lubricated them or added anything to them. They're just straight out of the factory as is in the instructions, and people recommend to kind of dry oil these or lubricate them somehow just to make sure through the winter and summer seasons they operate as is, but I've just never gotten around to it, but they work just fine. And yeah, I would say that's a huge pro. Now that I'm doing this review, I'm probably going to use some dry oil or proper lubricant on these just because it definitely needs it over 8 months. So the third thing I really like about this truck toolbox is this weatherproof seal, the foam seal going all around the top roof area here. So that does a really good job actually of not letting any moisture in or water, rain, snow, whatever. Not once has this gotten water in any way, and that's because of this foam here. It does seem kind of cheap, and it's a little falls apart on some of the sides, but I mean it does the job. And I think that's really important for these because quite easily could you have, valuables in here if you lock it up, and water could ruin anything like electronics or whatever you end up putting in here. So that's definitely a key aspect to a lot of toolboxes that I feel like a lot of people kind of glance over. But I mean, this stuff does the job, so I'd say that's definitely a pro. So in conclusion, this box is a really good bang for your buck. It's $300 and you get a good amount of room inside. It's rugged on the outside. You can do the chrome or blacked out look like I was saying before. It's an attractive looking box. It functions well. The hardware inside holds up minus the key, but that can be fixed by just proper maintenance or buying more keys. So yeah, overall I would say this is a really good buy from Tractor Supply, the DeeZee toolbox. It's very affordable compared to other toolboxes out there. You can spend upwards of like $600 to $1,000 depending how high tech and fancy you want to get with it, and obviously the more depth you add or the width and all that, you're gonna spend more money. This box is well worth it for me personally. I believe it would be worth it for other people out there. So I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, peace.